Have you ever heard of an empire in West Africa that was larger than the whole of Western Europe at the time? An empire so vast, so wealthy, and so intellectually advanced that it became a beacon of civilization. Today, we journey back to the 15th century to uncover the story of the man who built this legendary empire, Askia Muhammad I, also known as Askia the Great, the ruler of the Songhai Empire. This isn't just a history lesson, it's the epic tale of a military genius, a visionary reformer, and a devout leader whose reign marked the absolute zenith of West African power and culture. From the dusty battlefields where he seized a throne to the grand halls of learning he established, his story is one of ambition, faith, and ultimately, betrayal. Get ready to explore the golden age of the Songhai Empire and the incredible legacy of its greatest emperor. Our story begins not with a king, but with a soldier named Mohamed Touré. Born around 1443, he was a member of the Songhai people and rose through the ranks of the Songhai army under the empire's formidable founder, Sunni Ali. Sunni Ali was a brilliant military commander who had forged the Songhai Empire through conquest, but his relationship with the Muslim scholarly community was often strained. He was a pragmatist who blended traditional African beliefs with Islam, which didn't always sit well with the devout urban elite. Mohamed Touré, on the other hand, was a deeply committed Muslim and a skilled general in his own right. He was respected by the soldiers and admired by the influential Islamic scholars of cities like Timbuktu and Gao. When Sunni Ali died in 1492, his son, Sunni Baru, took the throne. Unlike his father, Sunni Baru openly rejected Islam and refused to declare himself a Muslim, which alienated the powerful merchant and scholarly classes. This was the moment Mohamed Touré had been waiting for. Seeing an opportunity and believing it was his duty to uphold the faith, he challenged Sunni Baru. In 1493, the two forces met in battle. Mohamed Touré, with the backing of the Islamic establishment and his loyal troops, decisively defeated Sunni Baru and seized control of the empire. He didn't just take the throne. He adopted a new title, a title that would echo through history, Askia. The name Askia was a military rank, and by choosing it, Mohamed Touré, now Askia Muhammad, signaled a new dynasty and a new direction for the Songhai Empire. His rise to power wasn't just a coup, it was a revolution that would usher in an unprecedented era of prosperity and stability. With the throne secured, Askia Muhammad began the monumental task of transforming the Songhai Empire from a kingdom held together by military might into a well-oiled, centralized state. He was a brilliant administrator. One of his first and most significant reforms was to restructure the government. He replaced the traditional, often rebellious, local chiefs with loyal governors he appointed himself. He created a council of ministers for key areas like finance, justice, agriculture, and the army, essentially forming a cabinet to help him govern his vast territories. This bureaucracy made the empire more efficient and easier to manage, but his vision went far beyond politics. Askia Muhammad understood that wealth was the lifeblood of an empire. He standardized weights, measures, and currency across the empire, which was a huge boost for trade. He created a professional, full-time army and, for the first time, a navy of war canoes to patrol the vital Nego River, securing trade routes from bandits and rivals. This new security allowed commerce to flourish. The trans-Saharan trade routes, which connected West Africa with Europe and the Middle East, boomed under his rule. Gold, salt, kola nuts, and enslaved people flowed out of Songhai, while textiles, horses, and luxury goods flowed in. The markets of Timbuktu, Gao, and Jen became bustling international hubs, attracting merchants from as far away as Venice and Granada. The empire grew incredibly wealthy, and this wealth funded Askia's other great passion, education. He was a devout Muslim and turned the Songhai Empire into a renowned center of Islamic learning. He invited scholars from across the Muslim world to Timbuktu and Jen. He generously funded the University of Sankore in Timbuktu, which became one of the most important intellectual centers in the world, drawing thousands of students who studied law, medicine, astronomy, and theology. Under Askia Muhammad, the Songhai Empire wasn't just big, it was a prosperous, organized, and intellectually vibrant civilization, truly entering its golden age. Just a few years into his reign, in 1496, Askia Muhammad embarked on one of the most legendary journeys in African history, the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. But this was no ordinary pilgrimage. It was a massive, spectacular procession, designed to announce the arrival of a new, powerful Islamic empire on the world stage. Accompanied by thousands of soldiers and scholars, he reportedly took with him an immense amount of gold. Some sources say as much as 300,000 gold pieces. His generosity in the holy cities of Mecca and Medina was legendary. He distributed vast sums to the poor, funded charitable institutions, and purchased a hostel for students from West Africa studying in Cairo. His journey was a diplomatic and cultural triumph. In Cairo, he met with the Caliph, the nominal head of the Muslim world, who officially recognized him as the Caliph of the Sudan, a title that gave him immense religious authority and legitimacy back home. He engaged with the leading scholars of the age, absorbing new ideas about law, governance, and science. When he returned to Songhai 2 years later, he brought back not just prestige, but a wave of fresh intellectual and cultural energy. He brought with him scholars, architects, and jurists to further enrich his empire. This pilgrimage had a profound and lasting impact. Islam became more deeply embedded in the fabric of the empire, especially among the urban elite. Islamic law, or Sharia, was more strictly applied in the courts, and the educational system was further aligned with Islamic principles. The cultural exchange also influenced Songhai architecture and customs. Askia Muhammad's Hajj wasn't just a personal act of faith. It was a masterful stroke of statecraft that integrated the Songhai Empire into the wider Islamic world, solidifying its reputation as a major center of both power and piety. It cemented his image as a truly great Islamic ruler and brought his empire to the peak of its international influence. For over 3 decades, Askia Muhammad the Great ruled with wisdom and strength, maintaining the vast empire he had built. But as he entered old age, his fortunes began to change. In his later years, he was afflicted with blindness, a condition that made it increasingly difficult for him to govern the sprawling empire directly. He had to rely more and more on his sons, and this is where the seeds of tragedy were sown. Askia had many sons, and as his health failed, the rivalry among them for the succession grew fierce and destructive. They saw their father's weakness as their opportunity. The most ambitious and ruthless of his sons was Musa. While his father was old and blind, Musa saw his chance to seize power. In 1528, in an act of shocking betrayal, Askia Musa organized a coup against his own father. He overthrew the aging emperor, the man who had built the empire from the ground up, and declared himself the newest. It was a heartbreaking end to a glorious reign. The great leader, who had commanded vast armies and ruled over a golden age, was deposed, and according to some accounts, exiled to an island on the Niger River, left to live out his final years in darkness and isolation. This betrayal wasn't just a personal tragedy, it was a fatal blow to the stability of the empire. The precedent of a son overthrowing his father set off a chain reaction of internal conflict, assassinations and civil wars that would plague the Songhai dynasty for decades to come, ultimately weakening it from within. Askia Muhammad the Great died in 1538, about a decade after his overthrow, but his legacy far outlived the son who betrayed him. Askia Musa's reign was short and brutal. He was himself assassinated just a few years later, a victim of the same vicious cycle of internal strife he had initiated. The Songhai Empire, once a model of stability, entered a long period of decline, racked by dynastic disputes. Although it would continue for another 50 years, it never regained the glory it had known under its greatest ruler. The final blow came in 1591, when a Moroccan army, armed with modern firearms, crossed the Sahara and shattered the Songhai forces at the Battle of Tondabi, bringing the great empire to an end. Yet, the legacy of Askia Muhammad endures. His administrative reforms created a blueprint for governance in West Africa. The intellectual flourishing he championed in Timbuktu and Jen left behind thousands of manuscripts that are still studied today, a testament to a rich African scholarly tradition. And perhaps his most visible legacy stands today in the city of Gao, the tomb of Askia. This striking pyramid-like structure of mud brick, believed to be his final resting place, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It stands as a silent monument to the man who took a kingdom and forged it into the largest empire in West African history. Askia the Great was more than a conqueror. He was a visionary, a builder, and a scholar king whose reign represents the pinnacle of an entire civilization. His story is a powerful reminder of the incredible achievements and rich history of West Africa. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed learning about Askia the Great and the Songhai Empire, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Let us know in the comments which historical figure you'd like to see us cover next. See you in the next video.